Dear, I write this letter to you in hopes of finding the painting My Father Under the Stars, 1979. As the title points out, the painting is obviously of my father. The original work of art was a photograph taken in Iran on a summer night, 17 hours before the Ayatollah invasion. My parents parted ways for a short time in a dramatic effort to seek refuge. My father stayed behind. After we fled to London, my mother hired a small, scruffy painter named Abu Fa Muharuni, who spoke a broken mixture of Armenian and Farsi, to replicate the photograph in oil on canvas. Abu said he trained in Italy and was a master of the art of sfumato, in which he said, "Like Da Vinci, I can make a portrait appear to evaporate like smoke." It all sounded lovely, so my mother hired him. The painting took 3 weeks and had all the qualities he promised. The ghostly figure of my father was shaded with gradations of light almost imperceptible to the eye. The painting was also an exact copy of the photograph, just bigger. We hung the portrait on the wall in our den. It was there when guests arrived. My father's countenance was so massive that the guests felt he could leap out of the painting and reach for the half-eaten baguette held in their hands. "He looks so real," they would say. The painting was hung there for years. We brought the painting to America and we migrated, for it was stolen. I ask you please search your database for this painting. My family's hunt has located the painting under pseudonyms belonging to art collectors, gallerists, and underground art enthusiasts. I appreciate your time and effort. Warm regards. Dear, we regret to inform you that our forensic search of the portrait My Father Under the Stars, 1979, has turned up inconclusive. Therefore, the artwork cannot be recovered. With the lack of DNA to identify theft, we are unable to continue our investigation. We are also unable to categorize the claim as stolen artwork in the National Stolen Art File. While there is a multitude of culprits still at large, we cannot determine the entity or individuals involved in said criminal activity. However, the investigation is not without evidence. While our findings may not be permissible in a court of law, nor have we gathered enough sample to devise a task force needed to continue our search, what we did manage to scrape from the alleged scene of the crime is bewildering to say the least. Our forensic scientists, while measuring the rapid change in air molecules hovering over the wall that held the missing painting, conclude that even though there is not enough material to document biotic particles in the perimeter of where the portrait was stolen, our tests find something vapid, almost cryptobiotic, invading the molecular structure of the air. In other words, the DNA tests show the shadow of hands without proof of those living in our timeline. All we can do is rule this test out as an anomaly, a rupture in the field of experimentation. We do apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused, and do encourage you to contact our department with any questions or concerns. Dr. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Art Crime Team. This year, I want to be a walking painting. One missing from a house with holes in the walls the size of mothers. Houses with imperial stairs and statues of lions and gargoyles. I want to be the kind of painting taken during war, transferred from callous hand to callous hand. A transaction of men climbing through holes in the side of the house with legal language hexed with vexes and allegation, who spit tongue and colony talk and pig Latin, who smell of bourbon and white wigs, who pronounce authority in black cloaks, men who will call me to the stand by my criminal name. Case number 37512. Men who hire painters oblivious to everything but the aesthetic of what it must feel like to step over a ring of bodies. Fuck that. I want to be a stolen painting, so the earth could see the imprint of a wall in the aftermath of hands. I want my canvas to be 1,000 mouths that fell silent when the siren sounds. When I step up to your patio for candy like trick or treat, you'll open the door and manage a smile. You won't know what else to do. You'll say, "And what are you supposed to be this year?" I'll want to say the leftover dust of a picture frame, which is another way to say cannot, betrayal. I'll want to say the dark shade of a canvas in its leaving. But instead, I'll say thank you. I am the result of history. Dear, thank you for contacting the Flock Collection about My Father Under the Stars, 1979. We value our contributors and collectors, and we hope to continue serving our communities for years to come. While we have received your request and performed a thorough search for said painting, we have never possessed this artwork. We have over 19 galleries, and our database shows no record of your requested item. We even contacted gallerists who host our many venues for a possible sighting of the stolen portrait. However, the description of your painting reminds us of one that was sold to an austere and wealthy family from the Midwest. The painting was A Man in a Time of Ash. Considering the circumstances surrounding your painting, perhaps the name was changed and sold at our auction? The auctioneer at the time said the painting revolved around the time of the Iranian Revolution, and it exemplified the fall of modern Iran. It sold quite well. Unfortunately, we cannot provide you with the details of the buyers, but if it's any consolation, we encourage you to contact the local police. This letter is also written to absolve us of any crime, as we reassure you we have no knowledge of any theft. Sincerely, Art Gallery Director, Flock Collection. My father never had a portrait of himself, but I see it hanging on our wall. The real one involves the blast, the knock on the door, the shuffle of feet. I like to pretend he had a portrait of himself that was stolen. According to the investigator report, it was registered as a quorum of shadows dissolving over a thin sheet of light, a man standing by a green vase, small rings of smoke traversing from his mouth. What I did not know then, his 5 o'clock shadow, his rolled-up sleeves, his glower through the third-floor window of our apartment that said, "I know well the thunderclap of sadness." What I do know well, electrons surging in his laughter. My father is alive while I write this. My father's painting is not alive while I write this. He doesn't hold the divorce letter, but it's there waiting in his hand. Experts say dark energy has its place in the universe. The black holes swirling in my father's smile, subatomic particles undetected by the human eye gravitate to one another, in small waves of light on the imprint of a wall. The real questions: which wall will we hang on? Which glass is our pain? For years, my father has lived with a missing painting inside him. I can see it when he tells a joke, lights a cigar, plays the piano. Mental note: the fields between artwork and a wall stripped of its art is the sad craft of hands. To be held can strike a room out of its emptiness and leave a craving for the odor of someone leaving. Someone who needs a signature as proof of the fire that parted them, the sweat it takes to love. The body salt of the burglar who blackens the wall, but only the wall can feel it.